Drug dealing just to get by, stack the money to get sky high.
Welcome to the B.O.O.B.S show.
Oh, man, and you know we stay back on our word here. Today I'm feeling double D's. DB to VP, Pro Nell ENT, long live Ron Nelson, man.
Oh, your boy SB, Summer Bell, Mr. G.
And Cali.
And we got our cameraman here today.
G Deezy. Finally here. We finally got Chris Day.
Chris Mateus.
Oh, Mateus. I said, I thought you called him Chris Potato. I'm not going to call Chris last name Potato. That is not.
Look, I gotta get my deal love. You know what I'm saying?
Let me get it to you, Callie. I'm sorry. We missed it.
Good. Chris, good.
Don't cross-contaminate.
No cross-contaminate.
You only see a Chris hand like on Inspector Gadget.
Oh, man.
He's the cameraman, and he's the guy that gets me fit. That's what Chris does, and I've been skipping on my leg days just to run my mouth.
Well, we definitely like we told y'all last time. Chris definitely got to be up in here and get his little video workout going and popping. You know, we're definitely gonna. Folks, as a matter of fact, Callie's gonna talk about that in the What's Good Tampa Bay segment.
That's right.
Callie gonna be on his ass.
Callie gonna be on his ass. We got Callie coaching, and then we got this fitness stuff. So pretty soon, with this fitness thing going on, because I myself, I stopped working out for about 6 months. Yeah. So really, my transformation with Chris would really be something spectacular to see that, because I got a 3-piece in the crease. So I'm really trying to see if I can at least add 2 more loads, or maybe just get the whole other 3. So maybe I can get a 6-pack at 41, 42. Like
you can, because I got.
You got a 6-pack at 42.
I'm looking at look. No, we ain't gonna do that. But the good thing about that, right, Real G, is that working out is honestly good for your mental wealth. And that's where we at right now. Welcome back to mental wealth.
Welcome back. Oh, you put me clapping that drink. Let me clapping that drink.
Oh man. Well, we're not gonna keep y'all. We're not gonna drag y'all through the bushes and stuff. But this mental wealth segment, I know we haven't had this segment for a good while. But this segment, we wanted to talk about the mental effect that has taken a huge effect on a lot of people in these past couple weeks, especially with the things that Kanye has been saying and the things that other important people that has been saying that has been, supporting Kanye or not supporting Kanye. In this show here, we're not picking any sides. We're not trying to say we're going to be in between or anything. We're just legitimately not picking any sides. What we are going to say is, the personal experience of things that has transpired in our lives that makes us either understand where he's coming from or makes us don't understand where he's coming from. So we don't want anybody thinking or having any hard feelings, because that's not what we're here today. We don't want to change anybody's thoughts on how they feel or how they act, because at the end of the day, you have a freedom of speech. So it's not our job to judge anybody and say what they're saying is wrong or is right. That's their opinion. So we're just going to give our opinion on our self-experience on certain things that transpired.
Well, are you trying to say, Steve, in such a nutshell, that we're not anti-Semitic?
Exactly. We are not at all. We are not.
Basically, you're also stating that how it's affected you personally, right?
Exactly.
Yes, mental wealth. Because we can't really be anti-Semitic. You get what I'm saying? Because we're just really giving for what we see.
Bingo.
But his name is now Ye instead of Kanye. So we got to be fair to all sides. We're just going to go with the mental health with Ye. But what do you feel when we're talking about Ye with his mental health? We have the mentality of what he's speaking, and then everybody's going at is that his health. But what he said recently was he hasn't been on any kind of medication. He said he's been clear of this medication right now.
Your phone. That's your phone. Your phone. Your phone is doing the bad. It's catching us.
Somebody keeps driving by.
Your phone might have a tracker on it, dude.
I had it here for a while.
It doesn't matter. Might have just turned it on just now, bro. See, and this is stuff we talk about mental health, right? Or mental wealth, right? Is that you might have somebody tracking you, which is giving us bad feedback, and now we over here freaking out.
I've had somebody track me with an Apple tracker here recently where it got pretty terrible. But we're not going to go on DA. We're going to go on Kanye.
So you know what, people? FYI, our next mental wealth segment, we're definitely gonna be talking about some really important things about what men are going through with females, right? And also what females are going through with men. So we're going to talk about both sides of the field, but that's going to be the next segment because it's affecting both sides of the field. Just like this Ye situation, it's affecting both sides of the fence.
It affects both sides of the fence, but can we ask Callie? Can we start off with Callie with with being that the fact, because when it comes to it with me and Steve, it might sound too personal, right? Yeah. Where we're taking it on personal, we say we're on one side and we're not really trying to agree with Ye, but when he starts saying stuff, it might seem like we are taking offense. So, what is it with the Ye that we're trying to expect and say? Like, do you feel what he's saying right now with really, he called it the red media?
I mean, the way it seems like it's affected him personally.
Right.
So basically, from whatever experiences you've had, experiences from your past, and what he said, that's how it's going to affect you personally. So, and it's okay for you to express how you feel, you know, because that's your point of view. That's how you feel about it, you
Facts.
know? And that's fine, you know. But that's not definitely saying that you're choosing a side or anything.
Right.
He's just expressing how he feels about it.
Right.
So it's perfectly fine for you.
The way that he feels right now, Steve, I mean, what he said was there was a certain group, there's two groups that are really gaining a lot of momentum. There's one group that's always had the momentum. Now there's one group that's coming up that's getting so much momentum that anything you say about them is basically off limits, right? You can name both groups, but I think naming both groups would start to
cause problems.
Exactly.
We're talking about on this show.
Yes.
And one of the groups with that Jeffrey Dahmer show was allowed to take off their marking with the show because they felt like this show was going to give them a negative look.
Yes.
All right. So with the negative look, what is going on with certain people in the media are able to control narratives.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Which can mentally affect what is going on in the community. Right. So in the community that Ye is concerned about more right now than everybody else, he's saying what is portrayed with the media is making a whole community down bad. Do y'all want to take a commercial break real quick?
Yes, we'll be right back.
Let's take a commercial break.
Alright.
Back from the commercial break, I got kind of anxiety, so I took a perky.
My PTSD started messing with me when I started,
Talking about that?
Yeah, man.
PTSD from mental health in your community.
I'm actually not. I'm keeping this very neutral. I prefer not to talk about my personal experiences, you know.
Yep.
So I'm just here just to talk about it because you guys are, you know, expressing how you guys are feeling. So,
and that's true. That's right.
But yes, but at the same token, that helps people also say that's your problem, not mine.
Exactly.
So not to go into the personal thing, we're saying community-wise. Because see, what we're speaking of with this is more of a collective community thing where you have your community and you guys have your set of rules. Everybody has a community with a set of rules, but when it comes to our community, everybody else has rules that they can apply and take out and say that. So it's a safe bet to say, yeah, well, I don't want to talk about mine. Let's talk about yours, because really that's not fair. That's saying, hey, I'll put my foot in this pot, but if it's too hot. So that's why people want to know. And not to say, like, are you with me? Are you against me? It's not that kind of movement. Because, again, we're not siding with anything. We're just saying, like, has your community ever been portrayed in a negative light to where more people see it and they attack you for it? And when people stand up for it, how does it affect the community, the mental wealth of your community? Is your community still driving mentally? Is it still becoming wealthy off of stereotypes or the things that come to make people look at you in a negative light? Like, what's your nationality?
I'm Hmong.
Yep. So what is the negative effect that people usually say about?
Well, a lot of people think that I commonly get mistaken right off the bat, either Chinese, Vietnamese, or Japanese, one or the other, because those are so much of the common Asian races out there.
Right.
And you know, so
can I say something real quick too, since you mentioned that? And you know what's jacked up about that? Y'all see what he said, right? People make assumption that he's a certain Asian race, right? and he heard it. He said Chinese. Bro, I got like 10% Chinese in my butt, right? So I got more Chinese in me than he does.
Or did you get it off Ancestry.com?
Nah, this is because I know my great.
I know.
Yeah. The chinky eyes don't come from what y'all be thinking.
Chinky eyes don't come from what you think. Whoa, now that could be considered disrespectful.
Facts. You know what I mean? But if you didn't know, like if I didn't say, hey, yo, there's a small percentage of me, you know, which has this in me, you know what I mean? You know, a person could take that as me making a racial joke, not knowing that I'm legit. I cannot claim and say, hey, I'm Chinese. But you check my bloodline, you'll find out real quick that
What's that lady that said she was part Indian, the Congress lady? Remember, she only had like 1/10. What's my lady's name?
Oh, you're talking about the vice president?
Not vice president. I forget her name, but she's part Indian now. Since she did her blood test, they said like she was 1/10 Indian, and so. But again, so we're talking about like mental health in the community. Kanye West wants a lot of people to take a look at how his community is being perceived on a national spotlight, right? In most communities, the man can be the head of the household, right? The children, somewhat, nowadays are still respectful to their elders and their people, and there's not a lot of people talking about murdering each other.
Correct.
Right. So at what point does a community say, hey, we're tired of speaking about mass murders, we're tired of people allowing us, think about it, this is allowing, when you're talking about killing people and we're saying that it's people that control music, I think that if we went to country music and you heard a whole bunch of country musicians talking about, well, I'm ready to go down the street and kill his other.
They do.
Do it?
Yeah, they do. Believe it or not, yeah, they do.
Okay, well.
It's just what's crazy is that it's every genre of music, in a sense, not every, but has some type of violence in it. You know what I mean? Right. And the problem is that hip hop is the one that they mainly focus on now. Like, hip hop's the problem. That's where the violence. But if you really go back, see, a lot of people don't know. I used to produce music, right? So unfortunately, if you go back prior before hip hop, and honestly, you can even as of right now, what genre of music is honestly talk more violence than hip hop?
Probably heavy metal.
Bingo.
Right.
Bingo. And the crazy thing about it is that it's got a pass,
right,
where it's okay for that behavior to transpire because, and then don't get me wrong, right? If you remember music, right? At one point, heavy metal was frowned upon.
Definitely
before hip hop came into the picture.
Yes.
So now hip hop is taking that heat where heavy metal is just freely, it's got its pass now, it's freely doing what it's thing.
You can still do grunge because heavy metals went to grunge.
Yep.
Punk rock, and they even go to what we got now where they bash
emo,
all
that stuff. Yeah.
But also,
I mean, it's constantly evolving. You know?
It is evolving.
And the thing is that I think what happens is every time it evolves, there's always going to be something to be criticized about it.
Right. Bingo.
And when it is criticized, it's always going to go to the previous generation or the genre of music that it get branched off from. I mean, I remember when hip hop came out, it was all about having fun, going to parties and dancing and doing all that. But then after the gangster rap started coming in and all that, I want to kill you and do all this stuff to you, and then it actually started affecting what people thought about hip hop, because that was kind of like a branch off of it, So people were like, okay, now it classifies hip hop as all bad.
So, quick question, right? Since you brought that up, who's controlling the narratives behind those hip hop artists that's talking about shooting and killing? And look, I was a music producer and artist. I almost got signed to Universal back in the day. So I know. I'm just gonna see what Callie says and then see what Damien says. I'm not gonna tell y'all. I ain't gonna say anything. But I'm gonna let y'all do the research. Yeah, that's that line that I won't say.
I rip and I spit.
My opinion, I think it's the people, because the people who are paying people, to hear that kind of music. There's also a lot of people that like that kind of music. I mean, there's different types of people, but like I said, there's still good. If there's a crowd where you can make money off of it, You're gonna produce that music because you know why? It's gonna sell. You know, because people can relate to it too
But
as
quick
well.
question:
At the same time,
what if you were told, right? What if you were told that you're only allowed to make this kind of music?
then that
The reason why I say that is because I've seen some contracts, and like I said, I almost got signed to Universal back in the day. But I've seen some contracts, right? And I'm not, and that's why I'm not gonna say any individuals or anything like that, because realistically, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you really, you know, I don't know who finalized that contract that was put into me in front of me back in the day that made me question, and I've seen other people's contracts and so forth. So at the end of the day, you have to question, right?
Right.
On some of these contracts, it legitimately be talking like some outer space. I'm not being so real with y'all.
they're dictating how you got to be and how you
Bingo. And in some of these contracts, it's legitimately okay. So I'll give you an example. Why do you think there's so many one-hit wonders?
Because after they hit that,
after they get produced that make that one-hit wonder, then
they don't want to do what they're being told to do anymore. They don't want to be told like, hey, I have to. You gotta think about it, right? Because if I make a track, right, and the track legitimately is talking about like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do this to you and do this to you. I'm gonna go and take your girlfriend and sleep with her and yada 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 yada, right? But that's not who you truly are, right?
No.
After you do that first one, you make the money. Do you think that money's coming in now? Do you think you're gonna really want to go and make another track like that? Even when, because you was forcing them, like, you know what, fine, I'm done, I won't make no more music, I'm done with the contract, I take my money and I'm going. And that happens a lot with a lot of one-hit wonders, is because the fact that they do it because they see that fat check and the contracts are from, you know what, I gotta do this. And then after, it's like, but this is not who I was. Now, then you run into individuals, right, like me, right, and I'm gonna be straight up, like me.
Be straight up, Steve.
And unfortunately, I've done some things in my youth, in my past, you know what I mean, that, you know, made me question. But as I'm older now, I understand that I was a product of my environment, right? And then I have to ask myself, how did I become a product of my environment? The reason why I became a product of my environment is because I became a product of... We're gonna lock it right there. We're gonna lock it right there. We got to be careful how we say this, right? I became a product of my environment, right? Because I was a product of somebody else.
Yeah. So was our environment that we got really the product, and we just had to walk into the steps and see what it is? Because they told us, this is the product. This is what you are. You can take the red pill or the blue pill.
We didn't get that. We didn't get that matrix option.
We didn't.
No,
because it was basically...
So basically the way I'm looking at it is basically your true form of art is no longer being used. All they're using now is just your voice to basically speak their minds, their opinions of what they want to promote.
Yeah, because really, if I was to get signed tomorrow, right, and they told me like, yo, you need to talk about gangster rap and you need to talk about popping this and doing this to people, I'm gonna say no. You know why? Because I lived such a horrific life in New York. Yeah. That I don't want to be nowhere around that. Well, you know what I mean? I want to talk positive. You know, I got kids. I want to talk positive. I want to bring knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So if I feel like, oh, they're looking at me because they're like, yo, we like your structure, we like your stat, you know how you stand, we like how you walk, you know, we like the way you talk. You need to be talking this and you need to say this. Guess what? I can't do that, but there's so many people that's so gullible for money that they take it, and then after they take it, then they reap the consequences. Like, and that's a huge thing in the industry, right? In all entertainment, you reap what you sow. So if you don't want to reap this, then don't sow this. Right. So if you don't so at the end of the day, and I'll toss one more thing out there, right? And all this is all based around mental wealth for a main reason, right? All right. In the business, right, if you don't want to get... See, we got to be careful. I got to be careful how I say this.
In the business, if you don't want to get categorized as a gangster rapper or a comedian rapper, it's safe not to even jump into that bed to start off with, because
if you don't got money to control your situation or be a private artist, you got.
I think it's money. Money's a key thing now.
Yes.
If you don't have the money to produce yourself and to throw yourself out there, then that's the problem.
And I think that,
but nowadays, I think it's a lot easier now. You got social media.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the thing, though.
It is a little easier. It is a little easier.
You can actually do all your recordings, computer now and everything. So
it can. But that makes the powers that be.
But you gotta be knowledgeable of it, though.
But it makes the powers that be even more shiesty, because they know that you have the capability to make a song at home instead of going to a studio. You can do so many more things at your house, and I can still charge you for studio time, even though you never went to a studio.
You're right on that 100%.
The Ye thing, one thing that we have with Ye in the contract of his music, he has a lifelong contract.
Yeah.
And in that EMI contract, before he did all this and he got canceled, this contract said you must perform, record, and produce music with the same amount of love that you did when you first started. Mm-hmm. How was that possible for a person that started off hungry at 20, 30 years old, making music, everybody loves it, and now your mind goes everywhere to fashion and this and that, but they're saying, hey, remember, the thing that made you, you got to come here. And not only that, you're a conscious rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're a backpack rapper like the other guys. So when you say LL Cool J, KRS-One,
honestly, it's definitely it's considered a woke rapper now. And the reason why I'm just not to cut you off either on that. Reason why I say that, so that is a definition behind that, right? Is that for individuals that don't know this, right? In the government and from politics, Democrats to Republicans, and I'm being so serious. If y'all don't believe me, y'all do the research. But right now, what they are calling individuals, right, in the government that are waking up, right? They're practically, some of these individuals, they're not even calling them black. They're just calling them woke individuals. And they're legitimately talking about they want to put a stop to these woke individuals. So that's y'all do the research. I can find it online. They've been
the CIA said they never wanted another Messiah for the people. With people they were talking about, this is still what we're trying not to make it that issue. Mm-hmm. The thing is, again, when you're looking at music and you're controlling music and you're controlling the key of people, there's a lot of other music and movies. It's not just music. Mm-hmm. We talk about sitcoms. I think we spoke before where we have shows Blackish, or we have shows called Fresh Off the Boat.
Yes, Asian Family. Yeah.
And so they give in comedy things of that nature of how it's supposed to be and how it is when you get successful, where you try to leave your heritage alone, and now conform into this new society of how they want you. So you were black, but now we want you to be blackish. You were of Asian descent, but now we want you to be we want you to be fresh off the boat. That Asianness. Yeah. That's in a way it's funny, but fresh off the boat. If I said that to you, you understand what I'm saying?
Look. See, and that's the thing. So that's and just even with that show, Fresh Off the Boat. I mean, realistically, I get it. It's a good show, catchy phrase, but then you take that phrase, right? I can almost agree that if there's 4 of us in here right now, right? Mm-hmm. If anybody on the street walked up to us just right now and said that to us, hey, you fresh off the boat, we're all going to take that shit personal.
Everybody's going to take it personal, because being fresh off the boat, and if we really want to be technical, which we're not going to be technical, there was more Europeans
that was fresh off the boat.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's basically fresh off the boat, besides Native Americans. I mean, if you think about it, all the settlers and everybody.
And that's another story we're going to talk about in the future. We're going to talk about that because
everybody's been fresh off the boat at one point in their life, And
every community has been, but the thing is, when we're truthfully want to talk about America and what's going on, there's a lot of people that have contracts, and I think Ice Cube was trying to allude to this, and he got shut down and spoke about. There's a lot of ridicule, and they're ridiculing mentally wealthy African American males. A lot of people get it, but right now they're going off with people that are trying just to make their people better. Apologize about that. And so when you're dealing with contracts and what makes America America, a lot of groups have contracts with America, so you cannot talk bad about them, disrespect them, and do things to them. We have the Jewish sector. They have a contract with America. If you say something bad about them, you're anti-Jewish. We have your Asians. We even have Spanish people. We have where you can't say anything about certain groups without being attacked.
Yeah.
If you say something about the what is the group that I don't even want to.
We don't even bring up we don't even bring their name up. But
so if you
facts.
And so even if you bring this group up, sometimes this group with the acronym group, if you bring them up, they're taken from everybody's heritage. So it makes everybody feel like, hey, I got to be this first before I can even be this. You know, hey, if you're not this way, what is going to make? How are you protected as an individual if you're not into a group and you say, you know what, I want to be an individual. I don't want to be in this group. I don't want to be classified. I don't want to be stereotyped. But it's kind of like too late because it's kind of like, listen, like you said.
You talking about the KKK?
A lot of things. It's everybody.
A lot of Well, I was about to say because if you said, I didn't know if you would. That's I'm just I'll say that all day long. KKK. If anybody's anti-Semitic, they are. I'm just being real. I mean, no. That's not a bad thing. No, let's keep it real. We all know. Everybody that's not. That's straight up. We know that, bro. The KKK made it very clear that if we're not of them, and it doesn't matter what your skin color with them is too. Realistic skin color is a factor with them, but at the same time, if you're looking at things differently than they are, then you are correct.
I just know this: when it comes down to it, I can make fun of you on sitcoms, and I can say whatever I want until it gets to a point where our cultures can be combative to each other.
Yes.
I can say something to you till it gets to the point where me and you can become combative to each other. Where if I've disrespected.
But it's okay for us to kill each other.
But you know what? I think that depends on the individual how they take it. Like honestly, with me, if you said it, I'd probably laugh at it because you know what?
It takes one person on media.
Exactly.
It takes one.
Yeah.
But we're talking now that I can't say anything about one person from this group, even if it's 5 people that are doing me wrong. If you have 5 black guys that jumped you say, man, you know what? When I see a group of 5 black guys or more, it just does something to me.
Well, yes, because you know your mind starts going back to that traumatized state where you're like, hey, I'm traumatized for that. So you're gonna go to a fight or flight mode, you know.
So
and you
now what happens when a group of people, every time you get to a certain sector of money, 5 guys from a different thing come and jump on you and take all your money. Who's to say that I can't be traumatized over and over again? And after they hijack you, they say, listen, I've hijacked you. Now you're only going to talk about this. I only want you to talk about sleeping with my girl, not your girl. You married. But tell everybody that you're sleeping with my woman. Tell everybody how you feel about me as a person. You get what I'm saying? But again, that's cool. But the day I go and say, nah, relax. I'm going to go talk about this man. This Mongolian. I got beef. Right? Now it becomes world war. Because again, I've said something about him. And now it's kind of like, hey, it's only entertaining when you guys go at it. It's more funny.
Because then you're speaking from experience. You're speaking from the stuff that commonly or that actually does happen, you know?
But they know if me and you go at it, there's a good opportunity and chance that me and you might resolve it in a way where it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't want to fight you.
I don't want to fight you. Yeah.
But if we two go at it, they want us to take one of them.
They want to go further. But it shows.
Which also flips on your side too.
There's another Asian person out there.
They want y'all to take each other out.
They want you to take each other out. So what's the thing of where does it stop to where I don't hear about Asian on Asian crime.
Oh, but it's there.
I know it's there.
Yeah.
It happens within the communities like that.
Bro, I know there's 2 Asian gangs in Cali right now that be after each other. Yeah.
Oh, I know quite a few of them.
Yeah, it's not just
I'm not
two.
going to say them, but I know quite a few.
It's not just 2 Asian gangs in California.
There's more. There's a
We're
lot.
both from California.
Both from California.
Different sides.
Yep.
Southern California, different sides, man. Cali both. And when you only think that there's 2,
Cali did this to me.
No.
Cali did.
you can understand us talking about this right now. Being from Southern Cali,
Northern California's got its own thing too.
Cali broke my leg because I owed him money.
you would think
Hey,
that
he tricked me.
he tripped. You would think that only in California there's black and Mexican gangs.
No, but there's Asian.
There's Armenian.
Armenian too. That's right.
You understand?
Armenian. Yep.
Oh, for real, like that? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say any names.
I'm not from Cali, you know what I'm saying? But I get you.
Well, and even within the prison systems.
I know those stuff is in New York, like just, but now I know it's just the same thing.
It's gang.
Like with the prison systems, it's all race. It goes by race. You know, once you go in, you have to go with Asian people. If you're Hispanic, you go with the Hispanic people. And even within the Hispanic, there's 2 groups of Hispanics. You know, and then there's even Central California. They've got their own groups. You know, and then the Northerners got their own groups. And you know, and it's crazy. You know, it's segregated.
They always say Black Lives Matter, this matters, racist, everything, but you know the government actually don't care.
The government.
Why is it in every application you gotta put if you're black, white, or Asian? Why do they just take it out? It doesn't matter.
And I think what that is because the truth in what they know is if you can continue to tell me that I'm black, the further I keep on saying this, the further I may actually go away from the true identity that I am. Because when they say, are you Asian, from Asia, the continent, somebody can say, yeah. If they say, are you Hispanic or Mexican, from that Mexican thing, they can say, yeah, I can go right here to say this is where I'm from. But when it says black, every time you say black, there's a second question. I don't know if y'all ever had to put black on y'all stuff, but it says black.
I put other.
Or you say other, because even if you say black, it says, are you black or Hispanic? There's another question of it.
That's trying to tie
Hispanic and then Latino, like.
Yeah.
But so Hispanic and Latino is this.
I think there's race and ethnicity are 2 different things.
Well, a Spaniard.
But you want the simplest way for you, right? Think about it, because we both was in the military, right? Okay. When on every military application, right? They always asking you what religion.
What religion?
Okay. You never see Hebrew on there.
No.
So that should tell you that being a Hebrew is not a religion. That is a man. That is a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's a spiritual thing. So if the fact that they don't have on there, if you're Hebrew as a religion in the military, right? It's nowhere. They do not have it. Then that should say something. When in the military, it does. They do go through the process: black, white, Spanish, also. But then you'll also notice that there's nothing on there that asks, or if you're Hebrew individual. Not even the other term that we use for Hebrew, it's not there at all. Yeah, that's it. And the reason I questioned it in the past, I'm like, yo, and it's like, well, just put other, and that's the reason why I started the other. The military is the one that put me on. A captain told me, he's like, well, technically, if I was you, don't put this no more. You should put. Matter of fact, I'll go just so y'all can get it. A military captain told me this when I was in the military. Told me not to put other on my applications. Told me. It doesn't matter if I'm Republican or Democrat, because I was Republican when I was in the military, and then I was switching over to Democrat, and she told me, don't do that. She was like, it doesn't matter. She was like, just her exact words was, we control the president. I kid you not, bro. That's what she said, we control the president. And when I heard her say that, I was just like, I sat back and was like, I had to let this register to me, and it's factual.
More airport, yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say something to his question.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think about Spanish, Hispanic, and Latino,
okay,
all right, the Spanish is almost like we're talking about with the ish word.
Mm-hmm.
People from Spain are Spaniards. So anybody else that talks that language that sounds like that is Spanish, right?
Spanish descent.
Hispanic.
Or Latin.
They're not.
Actually, Latin or
right.
Yes.
But Latin are the the islands.
roots, yeah.
You got Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Cuba.
Yeah,
That's
but those are all.
Latin.
But those are also all Spanish.
But they're Latin.
Spain. If you're from Spain,
You say Spanish.
Spaniard.
No. Spain, you're a Spaniard.
Spaniard.
And if you're from Portugal, you're Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yep.
Those are the two main.
That's that. But
That's tied to the Catholic Church. We're not going to go into details of what they
I
did,
think Italian is
but you
good,
get,
but
but it's not Spanish.
Exactly. Once anything that they had, and I'm just this is just real with y'all, so I hope nobody takes what I'm saying. Unfortunately, a lot of these Spanish islands, right, wasn't Spanish islands, the Spaniards during the slave trade movement, and I'm gonna keep everything simple because I don't want to piss anybody off at the same time. But at one point in time, the Spanish and the French was notorious. They would go in, but they would go in. They would kill off all the men. They would kill off all of the babies, rape the women, so they would reproduce their children, so they can try to get big, strong. It was some crazy stuff, and the Catholic Church was a huge part into it. Yeah, I know. We'll keep it simple now. They was a huge, because we remember the Pope in 2002. He came and he apologized. He's like, "Hey, I want if the world could forgive us for all the ferocious and atrocious stuff that they did." Well, we'll just leave it like that. I know I'd be jumping off the top, jumping and going to that certain.
What I heard, when I was explaining, just to close it up, Hispanic was more or less you're Mexican, Ecuador. Nicaraguan.
Yeah.
All right. Everything else.
El Salvador.
But anything else that had an island going on that's Atlantic was considered Latino, Latin, because they had the same kind
So,
of
quick question. I don't know better. Is Colombia in Spain?
No, Colombia is South America.
Colombia
Colombia is also an area
Argentina.
So all of areas was also
South America.
colonized
by Spain.
They could be considered Hispanic. However, they speak
Spanish.
But anything that's from Cuba and everybody else, Puerto Rico, they're more of the Latin. And that's what they consider themselves. They say they're the Latin.
Well, if you want to get caught out there as a Spanish individual, you see somebody, right? And if you say bueno, right, that's speaking Spanish. When you say buenos dias, you're speaking Spaniard. I learned that from somebody directly from Spain.
But the thing is, anytime we say the ish, what don't you like the most? Like if okay.
Yeah, you ain't hit me with that.
I'm hit anybody with
it.
Yeah, go ahead. What don't you like the most? What would you not like to be considered as? And we can close this segment on this if you want to.
Yeah.
What would I not like to be considered as?
What don't you? If somebody called you something, what do you not want to be a part of? Is there a person that you don't like? Is there a group of something that you don't like?
It really doesn't bother me too much what people think about,
True. But if there was a name, say a person, is there a person that you would not ever want to be just like? President, like Trump, Donald Trump. Would you rather be? Do you like him?
Well,
it's not a trick question. It's a regular question.
Somebody I wouldn't like to be like. Well, it's hard. It's tough to say. I mean, off the top of my head, I really don't. There's no one I do hate. I got.
How about I just hit him with like a simple phrase like that. Alright, so boom, I'm gonna come in the room, right? We're gonna do a improv real quick.
Improv,
right? Improv. I come in there, boom. Alright, here we go.
Hey, improv.
Yo, what's good, D?
What's up, baby?
Chilling.
I'm freezing, baby. I chill extra hard. I'm freezing.
Man, you kind of acting coppish over there.
Wow.
What's good, Charlie?
What's up?
Man, chilling, man. You kind of acting Asian-ish over there, Chinese-ish,
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're acting Polish. Now, the thing is this. Steve said I was coppish and you're a Chinese. Right?
Yeah.
Now listen to what we're saying. Alright? And I call Steve Polish, right? Now, knowing that in my neighborhood, being called a cop is something terrible and feeling like the police is something terrible, right? So, if somebody calls me coppish, they've taken everything about me that I've been to no snitching or just keeping things in-house. So when somebody says, Damien, you're coppish, they didn't call me a cop.
Yeah.
What do they call me?
They're pretty much saying that you're like a snitch, or you're like you know.
Am I similar to a cop?
I mean, they're pretty much saying you pretty much they're calling you indirectly like one, you know.
Like one.
Yeah.
The indirect.
Indirect. It's an indirect way of saying, yeah.
So if I went around and said, hey man, you know, you're Chinese-ish. Me and you knowing that you just told me what you are.
Yeah.
Calling you Chinese-ish.
And that's a blow, because I have Chinese in me, and I know that you don't have it in you. That's like
Actually, that's not true.
Yeah.
No, but I know what I mean. But
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
the details.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
We all all Asians, right? And this is what a lot of people don't know, right?
Yeah.
China is technically the birth of all
Asians.
So you know, my family, they're from the Hakka province, so I understand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's like a Puerto Rican telling a Cuban, "Hey, you know what I mean?" Telling a Cuban telling a Puerto Rican saying to a Cuban, "Hey, you're Puerto Rican," knowing that they're Cuban. So it's the same fashion with me having a little bit of Chinese in me and knowing that technically he doesn't consider himself Chinese; he's considered his mom.
Yep.
So that's like me taking a jab at him,
Jab.
Yeah.
subliminally.
A subliminal jab. And so anytime somebody says ish,
Yeah.
if I say Steve, you're whitish. If I call you blackish,
We need to go outside and talk about that one. I got white in my family too.
I can call my man Cameron. I can say he's Domerish. You know,
Domerish.
And
He likes eating people.
He probably got Chris up in there.
finally got Chris know he's Domerish. But Chris knows in his heart he ain't never ate nobody. Right?
Look, you turn red.
Yeah, look. That don't look too convincing.
That wasn't what she said.
You know what she said?
Come here.
The ish word, and what we're going to have to go on with is the ish. When
Back.
somebody says ish, the ish means like. And that by definition, ISH means like. If I say right now, Steve, you're Damien-ish. You know what, Callie? You're trying to be Damien-ish. You know damn well, I'm not trying to be like you, Damien.
Yep.
But I'm saying, I feel like you are. Now, is that disrespect if I say you're Damien-ish?
Well,
You're your own individual.
yeah, I'm my own individual. I mean, like I said, it
is disrespect because they're probably saying you're trying to copy someone.
Yeah, but it depends. It depends where you're at. Though,
It's not
you know?
Kobe.
I mean,
It's not Kobe.
It's not
Jordan. It's
Yeah.
different. And, yo, I get it. If somebody came to me and was like, "Yo, you acting Jordanish," I'm like, "Yo, what?"
yeah.
But if I say you acting pushyish,
Yeah.
That's where it's gonna be like.
Like I said, it's all on the individual. Like,
but let me ask you a question.
like-
As an individual,
Yeah.
would you call yourself Chinese-ish?
I mean, if somebody calls me that, I'm just gonna.
No. I said, would you, not somebody. No, don't stop
I mean,
calling it.
okay, if you want to go to the facts, then yeah, you know what? I mean, my family is from China, originally from China, you know. So
would you
I
call
mean,
yourself Chinese-ish?
But we are the Hmong people. We are the Hmong people that were originally from China.
Would you call yourself Chinese-ish?
Technically not.
Technically not. Would you call yourself Barbados-ish?
No, I would call myself. Only things I would identify myself if I had to put an ish behind it would be Jamaican-ish or Chinese-ish.
Is it Jamaican-ish because your family said you was a Yankee?
Bingo! And that's the mental trauma.
That's Trump.
Bro, you just hit it right on the noggin. So at the end of the day, we're not only receiving mental trauma by the individuals that's holding a friggin' weight over us, we're also receiving mental trauma by our own people because they're being trained to treat us this way.
They're trying to treat us this way. So the ish word has a lot to do with how people feel about themselves. If I kept calling myself, I'm Damien, you see my skin color. I'm saying, but I think I'm white, but I'm blackish. I'm blackish. I'm blackish. I'm blackish. When you see me, I'm saying I'm blackish.
I guess it's all from what people see. I mean, if you look Asian, you must be Asian.
But I'm telling you
or
this.
you must be Chinese.
But no.
You know? I mean,
Listen.
that's what...
You know what? I'm monkish.
You
No.
don't look monkish.
No, but I am.
But the way you are, okay.
But I'm monkish.
Yeah.
I'm taking over right now from what you guys got. I don't know anything about what the hell you guys got going, but I'm monkish.
I see, you know what, and I get where he's coming from because, look, even though my percentage is small as an Asian, right, that's still that to me, that's because I've done the research on my family, so I understand that that little percentage, that is okay. So
you must accept me for being monkish now. That I've said that I'm monkish. You do not call me nothing but monkish.
Yeah, but okay, but I see where you're coming from. 100%, you're right in that, and that's jacked up. That the fact that we have to think like that, because realistically, okay, let's keep real. You know what? Let's get real. Technically, you would figure that I would be in love with Chinese females, right? Because
you Chinese.
Technically, I know I'm fine with you saying Chinese.
I was thinking Chinese food.
No. That's what you would think, that I'll be loving Chinese. But honestly, I would prefer a Japanese chick, and a Japanese chick. Japanese
sushi.
No, it's not. And a Japanese person would take that as insulting. But but as me,
y'all thought I was going to slip.
See, no, we're bringing it now. We're gonna bring it right now. We're bringing it right now. Look. So, a Chinese person, okay? A Chinese person, believe it or not, bingo. You do not call somebody that's direct descendant from China Japanese. No. You're asking for a fist fight. I'm just being real. So there's a lot of bad blood, bro.
So, if I call a person from Tokyo, Chinese-ish,
they're fine with that because Tokyo's... Oh shit!
Tokyo's Japan.
It's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
What is it?
It's incorrect, and it's actually considered disrespectful. You know,
incorrect and disrespectful because the ish word means like you've taken something from us, and it's disrespectful to keep on saying it.
And if you really want to get hurt,
the true value.
Tell a Korean person that they're Japanese or Chinese, bro, and they take that the worst because the Korean people out of all people fought the hardest to get their freedom. They legitimately ran. They left Asia hard body. It was like, we're gone, and that happens, you know.
See, for me personally, like when people approach me and they stereotype and they misclassify me as Chinese or Vietnamese, I don't get angry. I just educate them on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm not Chinese. I'm Hmong. And when they ask me what's Hmong, boy, I've got a lot to explain to them. But to keep it short,
because I don't want to say this out on camera real quick, and I'm bring both the eye in real quick.
I'm
just shake your head.
I'm gonna say what you said. I'm going.
Cali can repeat it.
You keep it a secret. I'm gonna say what I said.
I'll repeat it.
So come closer.
Asian people got little dicks.
Yeah, that's serious. And then you probably heard that before too, right?
Actually, that's actually a first.
That's a first.
No.
Okay.
I think a lot of people. I mean, and it's understandable for people to say that, and you know,
it's because of
the lifestyle,
bingo, the old school lifestyle.
And a lot of people, may refer to the Hmong people as dirty or not civilized because the Hmong people were nomadic people. They lived in villages and tribes, and you know they're very nomadic, and they didn't have technology. They pretty much lived in the mountains. They hunted for their food. They grew their own food, the vegetables and everything. So they were very nomadic. So if you ask them, if you go to a Hmong person's house back in Laos, back in the days, in the 1940s or 50s, you know what? You go, hey, can I use your restroom? They're gonna say, go pick a bush out there, go dig a hole. And if you ask for toilet paper, they say, go pick a leaf.
Right.
That's what they're gonna say. And if that's what they consider dirty, then they have no idea.
But it's living off the land. But just like you said.
Yeah, they're living out by the resources what they have, and the things they're just getting by.
So the resources of getting by, when you have resources and you're getting by, and your people are still talked about, it becomes something because it's culture and how you live. But if we all went around and started to say, listen, I'm going outside. I'm about to go Hmong today. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? I'm about to go be ghetto. People started insinuating ghetto-ness with
do Hmong.
Let me go do a Hmong.
And that's technically, believe it or not, Cali's not saying it right. But look, I have the old school Asians in New York. They're like those, bro. Unfortunately, right, the Hmong, right, is kind of how the Black American people are looked at in the Asian community. If you
being from California, knowing that we have multiple Asian communities,
yes,
how where do your Hmong people stand amongst nobility?
Well, it depends where you're at. If you're in Central California, in Fresno, there's a huge Hmong population and community there. So Hmong people stand up pretty good up there. But if you go to Orange County, where I was raised at, it's majority Vietnamese, and there's a Koreatown, there's Little Saigon, and so they have their own little community there. So those are the more of like the predominant Asians that live in that area. So you're gonna see them more than anything.
Let me ask you one more question, because I never, and this is crazy, everywhere I go, I never see an Asian community. I see a busy community. I see projects. I see trailer parks. Is there an Asian community in Tampa that y'all have a secret gate code to that nobody knows?
Well, for the Hmong people, there is no Hmong community in Tampa.
But Asian in general.
Asian in general? No, they're
it's bullshit. Where do they live?
They just live all around.
No Asian people live by me.
No Asian people live by me. I'm Asian.
Where that? They have so much money, but where are the Asian communities? This is a question that I still don't ever learn.
I mean,
where do they go? They have all these stores. I'm not trying to be funny, but where do they go after they leave?
Well, one of my good friends,
you gotta get Asian.
Honestly, he didn't live in my neighborhood, but he lived in the vicinity. Yeah, he had a house in the vicinity.
Where did his family?
Hot Walk right down Kingsway, and
where did his family stay?
In the house too. But okay, so there's an understanding that you have to also understand when it comes to the Asian community that a lot of people don't understand is that especially when it comes to Chinese in general. The Chinese government control a lot when it comes to moving here to this country and what you're allowed to do when you move to this country. If you're a lower class Asian, and I mean lower class, not talking about what you're wearing, talking about financially, you could be allowed to come over here, but you're most likely going to be set up to work into another Asian store. It could be from a sweatshop, a Chinese restaurant, but that's how you're brought in. And then it's kind of like not only are you building yourself up, and see, this is what a lot of people misunderstand, right? Is that the Asian community also is being compressed by the same individuals that the black community is being compressed by. So, what makes it harder too, right? And this is why some Asians do have an understanding is that the Asians come over here just like people from Jamaica and so forth. We come over and you're already oppressed by the people that's here, but then you got the Asians, especially like Chinese, right? They're being oppressed by their own country, and that has really no control over here, but it's controlling everything that they do. So it's like they're going through a whole separate visa system just to get here, and they have to work for somebody. They're delegate. Like, it's not like they get the choice. If you don't have money, you don't have a choice. You're gonna get your visa. You're gonna go work.
Social status.
Not to, because we kind of.
Sorry.
Going back to he's for the people.
Yes.
He's for all the people. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody likes his clothes. And to be truthful, when he said slavery was a choice, more black people fell back and more other people started supporting and buying his stuff, right? So now that we come to the point where he said what he said, he feels the way he feels, mental wealth, he was a billionaire, and then they went to him being a high millionaire, high class multi-millionaire. They show you the powers that be, show you that I can silence you and take everything you want. But the thing is the power in the minority or is the power in the people? Because the people say that Kanye West or Ye West is still up here. We still listen to his music every day. We still wear his shoes.
Yes.
There's somebody else saying that no, we don't. What's the truth? What's the perception? Did he lose that much money overnight? How? How do you lose this much money overnight? Or does somebody take what you already had? There's a lot of stuff in here that when we're talking about mental health, what makes a person seem crazy? What makes a genius seem crazy? What makes it if I have money or if you have money, if we're in a thing, if right now Jeff Bezos was talking to us and he said, E equals MC squared, but C is MC. And I said, shut up, Jeff. What the hell are you talking about? a lot of people will be like, dang man, let Jeff Bezos talk his shit because he has what?
Money, his wealth, success.
So when we hear Ye talk, yeah, to me and you, he might be sporadic everywhere else, but because he's paid the cost to be the boss and he's up here, he's still entitled to have his say without being interrupted, because in this country and in this world, we give people with money power of voice.
Yes.
He can say that, and then on the turnaround, we can have a guy like Puppy or anybody else, Drake.
Yep.
We can have so many people disrespect the community and keep going against somebody. But when one person speaks up and says, hey, this is wrong, look at the contracts, this is what's going on. If it do it to me, it can do it to everybody else. If they can make me a billionaire, if they can make you a billionaire, and then they can take it,
yes.
Where is the power? Is the power in the government, or is the power in a group of people?
Group of people.
So if the power is in a group of people, they can't continue to tell another group of people to cancel people, because who is more powerful, the group that you belong to or the group that you're trying to impress? Because the group that you're trying to impress is making money off of the people that you are.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're talking about mental health. Mentally, we are unhealthy.
Facts.
As a whole.
Facts.
We're the unhealthiest group.
Facts.
Because we don't have family structure. Our kids are acting crazy.
We got no country to support us.
No country to support us. And we have no wealth. However, we make all the wealth to supply everybody's community.
I know we be back, but we be on our bullshit here.
We be back on our bullshit.
I'm gonna say something very subliminal. Mm-hmm. There might not be a country for black individuals that if something happened to us, to stand up for us, like the Asian countries and some of the Spanish countries and the UK British countries. But at the end of the day, there's gonna be some information, and y'all can mark my word on this, what I'm about to say, right? It could be a couple months from now, it could be a year from now, but there's going to be a lot of truth that's going to be coming out about this country that we live in right now. And I just want to say to everybody, please be prepared, because some of this information that's going to come out through the CIA and the government, because they're releasing a lot of information real soon. And there's going to be some stuff that y'all going to learn about this country and what this country was prior, before America and so forth. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be released. And it's going to be to a point where some people might mentally destroy them, where they kill themselves or hurt themselves. So reason why I bring that up with this being a mental wealth segment is that those individuals, don't harm yourself when you find out some of the truths that's going on, because this is a world that we live in where the world that we live in, the truth is built on the colonizer who won the war. It's not based on who lost the war, it's based on who won the war. So unfortunately, now that these wars are over and new wars are taking place, the old wars are over and there are new wars in place.
There's new wars
in place. And with these new wars in place, information about the old wars tend to be released. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, a lot of people is going to be in shock to what they're going to learn and hear, because of all the lies that we were told growing up and what we were told in school and history and so forth. Just don't let it. This history
is it y'all's story?
It's their story. It's whoever won the war. Whoever won the war.
It's this story be called their story.
Their story, yeah, because whoever won the war. But don't hurt yourselves,
Keep an open mind.
Yeah, keep an open mind, because this is what's going on. If you feel that it's too much for you to take in once, all this information is being released, go get some mental health, go see a doctor.
Read a book,
go work out, you know what I mean? But don't let this information, because it's gonna be even stuff on aliens. I'm being real with y'all. There's about to be some stuff that if y'all haven't heard yet. Yeah, you
can't be woke if your eyes are not open.
Exactly.
And you're not informing yourself.
Bingo.
You can't tell me information and then me digest and say I'm woke. I have to do the research.
The thing is that if you guys believe the story they told you and not question anything, then you've been asleep for too long. You know,
Exactly.
you gotta always question everything that even comes out in the media, because remember, everything that comes out in the media, it's controlled by the government, especially when the government.
Is it the government or is it through the powers that be that EA is talking about? Because
Exactly.
Well, I mean, technically, the government is part of that power.
Yeah.
It's the government.
Well, there's certain families. There are certain families.
There's families.
2 or 3 family names.
So we got their story, history, my story, your story,
our story.
the true story.
Bingo.
And when this true story comes out,
There's gonna be a
not to quote people, and I won't quote the man's name, but he said once a certain people find out their true identity,
he's gonna start World War III.
that's not to quote a person, that's not to be anti anything, but this person was so set on that even now to this day, for that group of people to find their history, when they find it, it said it's going to start something that's so crazy that it'll be a world war. That's crazy. So what's coming up in this time frame, they tapping on us, like they tapping on our energy. Can you hear that feedback? They start tapping on our vibration.
That's weird, right?
Tapping on our vibration.
There's a spirit of it.
But the thing is, mental health is mental wealth, and to not know your history, to not to read from us understanding why is it Latin, Hispanic, and Spanish, to why is it African American to Black to division. We need to realize what division is, how do we close it, and how do we also, as a group of people that are under duress, stress, how do we gain stability? Because right now, everybody else is strong.
Except
for a certain group of people. Again, we have all kind of people here. I'm not going to make it a certain thing, you know what I'm saying?
we're all struggling in here. At the end of the day, we're all struggling here.
Yeah, we all struggle.
If race don't matter, then why every time you put an application, it asks you?
If race don't matter, then why? If race didn't matter and if the dollar didn't matter.
It does, it does. I was a manager at an insurance company at one point in time, and I'll tell you, man, like, yo, unfortunately, I did hiring and so forth, but I wasn't the one that was signing off on what these people were going to make hourly. And I've seen some shady stuff where I go back and I'm looking and I'm like, why is this person making so much and they only got a high school diploma? And then I look back at, like, I ran into a situation where a supervisor was making less than and I'm just be real, less than a white employee. It was a black supervisor that I hired, and I had HR took care of everything, and a regular insurance agent was making more hourly than the supervisor. And the supervisor was also there longer than the agent. So it's not like the agent was there. But I was a manager for less than a year, so trust me. All these people came on.
Could it have something to do with education level?
No, he only the white kid. I'm sorry, no offense, because but he only had a high school diploma.
We're trying not to make this a black and white.
But that's what I'm not trying to do. What I'm trying to just saying that there's a lot of stuff that's happening shady. That's happening shady. Where unfortunately, if Roger and Tom both went for an interview, and Tom Brady, right, only had his high school diploma, had no experience, and Roger had college degree, but unfortunately,
Roger Troutman.
Unfortunately, Tom would, in a lot of situations, would get more money hourly than Roger. And when me being a manager and physically seeing this on paper as a manager kind of had me mind blown, where that's probably one of the reasons why I kind of got fed up and I was like, I was done with corporate America.
Let me ask you a question, though. Serious question.
Okay.
What does that have to do with mental wealth?
It messed me up mentally. No, it really did.
I get that.
That's why I can't go back. That's why I didn't want to go back for working corporate America.
And the supervisor being this and this guy's making this. So mental wealth and mental health. When this one guy went home working all his hours, he probably went home.
He's exhausted. No, this supervisor was putting in that work, bro. No, he was. The guy
would go home happy. wondering. The one guy,
Bro, and he barely did the kid barely did his job, bro. He barely did his job.
We're gonna have to go part 2 of this mental health.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, he got to do his what's good Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with mental wealth, and we'll continue. Thank you again for visiting us on the B.O.O.B.S Show.
B.O.O.B.S Show.